Hey everybody, it's me, Crazyfrankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my AFC and NFC division picks. Now, it's been a while since I've done any YouTube videos. I've been on a long hiatus from actually making videos, but I am back. Of course, the start of the 2018 NFL season is now upon us. And I'd like to start off my first video to give my AFC and NFC division predictions on who will win the divisions and possibly throw in some wild cards as well. And of course, following this video, I will also be doing my 4 key game picks. I've been doing this the last, I think 6-7 years since 6, 7 or 8 years now since I've been doing this on YouTube. And you know, my channel hasn't grown all that much because I haven't quite decided what I want to completely do with my channel. Well, in all honesty, because I'm limited on resources right now, and it's hard to, have proper equipment and get some better detail in video and audio, and that stuff ain't cheap. So it's gonna be a while before I even get to a chance to have better equipment. I mean, I actually bought myself new computers, and and basically now my next goal is gonna be, a better video camera and also hopefully a better microphone. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get into my predictions. Now, beginning with the AFC. Now, I'm going to start beginning with the AFC East. Now, this division is one of the worst divisions. It's been really a one-sided division. The Patriots have taken this division basically the last 16 years. There's only been 2 occasions where they haven't won the AFC East, and that actually 3 occasions. That was in 2000, 2002, and 2008. Those were the last times the Patriots didn't win the AFC East division. But since then, they've dominated. Now, I know a lot of things are going on in the offseason between the Patriots. A lot of key players they've lost from the last few years. And really, it's tough to say whether the Patriots are the same Patriots that we've come to know. Now, as I kept saying so many times, as long as Tom Brady's still playing and Bill Belichick is still the coach there, despite their mutual differences and their sort of hatred that they're now grown to each other, this is still the team to beat in the AFC regardless. And this is an easy prediction here in the AFC East. We all know the Pats are taking it. It's pretty much a unanimous decision that the Patriots will win the AFC East. The Bills, they're going with Allen as quarterback. It's going to be a while before they even establish themselves. Even though they made the playoffs last year, I still think they're going to regress this year. They have a lot to prove in order to get back to the postseason, and I just don't think this year is going to be it. They need to get Josh Allen into a quarterback, to establish himself as a quarterback in order for them to be a good team. But they also need a running game and some defense too. As far as the Jets goes, Sam Darnold now is the quarterback after the Jets traded Bridgewater, and they're still quite a ways away from being a contender. I mean, this year they'll probably improve a little bit more, but Sam Darnold really going to struggle this whole season. Do the Jets really make progress this year? I don't think they will, but if the Jets can get some players around Donald, I think they will be a threat in the next few years. Dolphins, they're pretty much a mess. I don't see them going anywhere. They're probably going to be in last place like they were last year. So it's tough. This is why the Patriots easily win this division, and I'm sticking with that. There's no question it's unanimous. Patriots win the AFC East. AFC North. Now, this one is a 2-team race in this division. It's really been the Steelers and Ravens division. Bengals, despite them winning division titles once this decade, they really are just not a good team. Andy Dalton doesn't have players around the Bengals. Browns, we don't know. The Cleveland Browns, we don't know what to expect this season. A lot of talk is on the rise, and Mayfield is going to be now the quarterback. I mean, who else do the Browns have? Yeah, you got to throw him in there. But they're still a ways away from being a contender. It might be even longer. I mean, we've been saying that. I mean, a lot of NFL analysts, including NFL fans, have been saying this for years. They're still a ways away from being contenders. Now, QB controversy going on between the Ravens, between Flacco, whether or not Flacco or or it's going if whether he's going to be able to keep his job. But until then, I still think this is Joe Flacco's team until he starts falling apart. As far as the Steelers go, it's like I said, it's a two-team race in this division. Either one of these teams I predict is going to win this division. But if I'm going to make the pick here, I'm going to say the Steelers barely win this division. Ravens still need a few more key pieces, but I wouldn't be surprised if they progress if they progress more this season. But I just think they're still a ways away from being a contender, and that is why the Steelers, even though they're probably taking a little bit of a step back this season, they're still going to win this division. It'll probably be maybe 10-6 or something like that. But I like the Steelers in the AFC North. AFC South. Now, this is actually the most competitive. This might be the most competitive division. Now, the AFC South actually has been a joke the last few years. But last season, the Jaguars, the Titans, and the Texans, except the Colts, all really made they really progressed last season. The only downfall in one of these teams was the Texans and Deshaun Watson being out for the season, when really the Texans were on the rise. But ever since they lost Watson, they fell apart. And really the Jaguars were a team that really just stole that division. Now, you can't count on Marcus Mariota and the Titans here. They probably will slowly progress a little more, but it's going to be a while before the Titans even make themselves more of a contender. The Jaguars right now, I mean, a lot of talk with Ramsey, the guy. I mean, if you hear in the media about all of his trash talking towards other quarterbacks, now I have to admit, I actually like it, and it made me laugh. But he's got to be able to back. He better be able to back his word, because there's no question they're going to be hunting for him, whatever teams they face. It's really going to be a very competitive division, but you're not going to get a Super Bowl winner out of any of these teams, because, I mean, like I said, the Patriots are still a favorite in that whole conference. But going to this division, it's going to be tough to say who wins this division at all. But I still like the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're a little bit more of a complete team. The Titans and the Texans. I think the Texans might be a playoff team going into this season. I don't know. But hopefully that Deshaun Watson can get back to form and really provide the spark the Texans need to be a contender again. But really right now, I like the Jacksonville Jaguars in this division. AFC West, oh boy. It's hard for me to talk about this division. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of football analysts and a lot of talk about this is the Chargers division to lose. And I sort of agree with that. But in all honesty, this is another division that is horrible. We don't know what we're going to get out of Kansas City this season, because they're going through different quarterbacks. Kelly Holcomb is going to be the one I don't know if he's going to be able to really bring that team together. And I don't know if Case Keenum is going to really establish himself as an elite quarterback with the Broncos when they really need. Now, going with the Raiders here, I mean, if you read lately, at the time of this video, Khalil Mack has now gone to the Bears. The Raiders traded him. Really, the Raiders lost a key piece of their defense, and really right now, I don't know what John Gruden is doing with that team. That, to me, is really the final nail in the coffin for the Raiders defense. Now, the Chargers have put themselves in a spot now where it's really their division now to lose. It's really tough to say if this Charger team can be a 10-6 team. I see them being more of a 9-7 team, because they are known for slow starts. They start out terribly in the first part of the season, but then they start getting hot in the second half of the season. They've been doing this a lot. And I don't know how, despite the talent they have, remember, they got some key players. They've always been snake bit with injuries. And Phillip Rivers hasn't been able to have an offensive line that's been able to give him time in the pocket to throw passes. But in all honesty, this division really has gotten a little bit more horrible now that the Raiders have regressed, now losing Khalil Mack now to the Bears. Now really, this is really the Chargers division to win at 9-7. And that's why I'm sticking with the Chargers. And that's basically it for that division. NFC, let's quickly get into the NFC. Beginning in the NFC East. Now, it's a three-team race now. Eagles, Giants, and the Cowboys are going to be the teams now to watch for in that division. Washington, they've kind of taken a step back. They're going to be in last place this season, I expect it. But as far as the defending Super Bowl champion goes, Eagles, they did lose some key pieces from their Super Bowl team. And despite the fact that Nick Foles is still going to be the quarterback because Carson Wentz is not going to be ready for Week 1, it's still his team. As far as the Giants goes, I don't know if the recent contract signing of Odell Beckham Jr. was worth a ton of money, especially the fact that, especially with Barkley, the running game for the Giants now has gotten a little bit better, but can they really establish a power running game? As far as receivers goes, Odell Beckham Jr. is all the Giants got. And it's really going to make Eli Manning's job just still a tad more tougher. But their problem is also defense. They definitely need defense, and they did not improve in defense that much during the offseason, let alone in the draft. As far as the Cowboys goes, Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott have to have a good year in order for the Cowboys to be relevant. But since then, losing, really, not say losing, but really their defense has not gotten any better. They didn't do well in the draft in terms of defense, but they're still going to, as long as Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott can spark the offense, they're definitely going to be a team that still will be in the playoff picture. But this is really the Philadelphia Eagles division to lose, and I like the Philadelphia Eagles again. They'll win, but it won't be like a number 1 seed probably. They'll probably be 11-5, maybe 10-6 at most, because this division will be a little bit more tougher for them to win this year. AFC North. 2 teams here, possibly 3 here in the NFC North. Really, despite Aaron Rodgers being hurt last season and the Packers really stumbled through the rest of the regular season last year, he got a major contract and he's going to be healthy again this season. And not only that, can he and Jimmy Graham get along in terms of a tandem? It's going to be tough for Green Bay to really have a good offensive. But knowing Aaron Rodgers, look, he's carried many Packers teams on his back. And I expect him to be in the playoffs this year. No question about it. Now, for the Vikings, can Kirk Cousins get that team over the hump to get to the Super Bowl? I don't know. They got their wide receivers. They got a good defense. But can they finish the job? That's going to be a huge question. The Bears with Keelan Mack now via trade from the Raiders now, their defense did improve a little bit. But really, they're still maybe a couple more years away from being a contender. They really need a running game, and they need wide receivers. And also to maybe get a few more draft picks on defense, which really, it's going to kind of hurt the Bears because they gave away 2 draft picks to the Raiders, and I don't know if they'll be considered themselves. Now, this year, they'll improve a little bit. But I don't expect them to be a playoff contender till maybe next year or maybe 2 years from now. So it's really a 2-team race in this division. I'm going to go with the Vikings here. I think the Vikings will win this division. But no question, it will be a very close race between them and the Packers to who wins the NFC North. I'm going to say that they both make the playoffs, Packers and the Vikings. NFC South. There hasn't been a repeat NFC South champion in years. Saints won it last year, and knowing Drew Brees, this is probably his last go-around. The Saints team didn't make much moves in the offseason, but they sort of have a contender on their hands. But you can't count out the Atlanta Falcons, and also you can't count out the Carolina Panthers. I'm ruling out the Buccaneers because the Buccaneers are a mess right now. And Winston, in terms of his legal situation, that's a different story. They really are a team that's just in disarray, and they ain't going to be contenders for years. It's really a 3-team race in that whole division. It's going to be very competitive in the NFC South. So who wins this division? I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. I think we'll finally have a repeat NFC South champion, but you really can't count out the Panthers or the Falcons. They're going to be in the playoff picture as well, and I expect one of those 2 teams to come out as a wild card. And in the NFC West, this is kind of an anomaly here with this division. Now, a lot of the football analysts have almost unanimously picked the Rams to win this division. And I'm going to go with them as well. I will say the Rams will win this division, but hear me out on a couple things here. Who knows how well San Francisco is going to play? Now, I know they've lost their running back for the season, so that their running game now has taken a hit. But really, if Jimmy Garoppolo can really provide that spark for the offense in terms of passing, San Francisco, the 49ers will improve a little bit this season. Seattle. It's hard for me to sleep on Seattle because you don't know with Pete Carroll and you don't know with Russell Wilson. And their offense, I know, is not that impressive since they lost a lot of key players, and especially their defense have taken a hit. But don't be surprised if the Seahawks play spoilers here. So somehow Pete Carroll manages to provide some sort of plan to really get the Seattle team still in a playoff talk. But the Rams are a more complete team in this division, and I like the Rams. They're going to win this division. It'll probably be 11-5, and it would not surprise me if they become a #1 seed in that conference. But it's too early to tell right now before the start of the season, but I like the Rams in this division, and I'm sticking with that. As far as AFC wildcards, I'm jotting down the Texans as one of them, and as well as the Ravens. Now, that's kind of a hard sell there because I don't know what to expect out of the Ravens because, I don't know if Flacco's the same. I mean, it's going to be tough to say, but this is just predictions. Keep in mind, this is really predictions. I mean, I still like the Titans to get back to the postseason in that divisional, in that whole conference as well, but I will go with the Ravens here. I think the Ravens and Steelers are going to be in for a dogfight in the AFC North as well as a wild card. In the NFC, no question, I like the Packers as a wild card team, and I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons as another wild card team. Anyways, that wraps up my predictions for the AFC and NFC divisions, and I will see you guys very soon before the start of Week 1 when I give you my 4 key game picks. And until then, I'll see you then. Take care.